Welcome to the deep dive. You know that feeling, right? Those dreams just sort of floating out there, maybe feeling a bit stuck. And it's usually not like actual walls holding you back, but something internal. So today we're diving into that. It's a pretty universal challenge, really. How to move past the fear, the inaction, and genuinely live a fuller life.
Exactly. And it's crucial to see that in action. It isn't just doing nothing. It's not neutral. It actually takes energy, strangely enough. Every single day is just packed with decisions, big and small. And being conscious about taking action, well, that's the engine, isn't it? It turns that passivity into actual purpose. It lets you shape your future.
Yeah, shape your future. I like that. And that's really our mission for this deep dive. Pull out some practical insights, mostly from behavioral psychology, to help understand, maybe confront, and hopefully overcome that paralysis we all sometimes feel. Okay, so let's unpack this. Where do we start? Maybe with what fear actually is these days.
Yeah, that's a great place to start. What's really fascinating, I think, is how fear works. It's this ancient wiring, built for like immediate physical threats, but it often misfires in modern life. Totally misfires. So imagine consequences, things that might happen. They start feeling like real world barriers. The fear isn't really, say, the new job itself. It's the idea of financial instability, maybe, or the thought of failing and being embarrassed. Nailing down what you objectively fear, that's step one. Really vital.
Okay, so it's not just the raw feel, but also how our minds try to be efficient. And sometimes that efficiency trips us up. We call them cognitive biases, right? Can you maybe give an example, something listeners might recognize straight away, like paralysis by analysis?
Oh, absolutely. That's a classic. It often looks like really intense planning, lots of research, but underneath, it's often just inaction driven by this deep fear of making the wrong choice, of making a mistake. But the irony is real clarity, actual experience, the deep learning that only comes from doing something, from action, even imperfect action.
Imperfect action.
And another big one is loss aversion. We are just fundamentally wired to hate losing something we already have, sometimes much more strongly than we desire gaining something new, even if that new thing is better.
Oh, okay. That explains a lot.
Yeah, it explains why people cling on, to jobs they don't like or situations that aren't great. The fear of losing that known, even if it's mediocre stability, it just outweighs the potential gain of something more fulfilling. It's almost like our default setting is comfort, even if that comfort is actually, well, misery sometimes. I think we've all felt that pull, haven't we?
Oh, definitely. And the hidden cost of just staying put, of that inaction, it's actually quite profound, isn't it?
Yeah.
More than just missed chances.
Indeed. It hits our mental well-being pretty hard. That constant nagging fear of making decisions or just staying stuck, it can seriously ramp up stress, anxiety, even lead to burnout down the line. So inaction isn't really a safe harbor to avoid suffering. It kind of actively creates its own set of problems.
All right, these aren't just abstract ideas. They show up every day. In dilemmas lots of us face, especially with careers. I mean, think about it. You see these stats, right? Global job dissatisfaction is huge. Nearly half of employees aren't happy. But that loss aversion you mentioned, it keeps so many people just stuck.
Exactly. And it's the same pattern you see with, say, entrepreneurship. Take Mexico, for example. There's data showing maybe 6 out of 10 people fear starting a business. And the reasons they give, often things like a perceived lack of capital or needing the security of their current job. Sounds familiar, right?
Yeah, fear of the unknown, basically.
Precisely. But the key insight here is that good preparation, like holistic preparation, can directly tackle those fears. Lack of capital, that becomes a task. Financial planning, poor market knowledge. Okay, use templates, research needs, lack of know-how, find educational content, mentors. It's really about breaking those big, scary, abstract fears down into things you can actually do, manageable steps.
Okay, so once we kind of understand the why, the fear, the biases, how do we actually start shifting, moving towards being more proactive? What are some immediate mental tools we can use?
Well, a really powerful one is cognitive restructuring. You can think of it like the 3 R's. First, recognize the fear or the limiting thought when it pops up. Then reframe it, challenge it, look for the actual evidence. Is it really true? And finally, replace it with a thought that's geared towards action, something constructive. And look, this isn't about magically eliminating fear. Fear will probably still be there. It's about acting despite it.
Acting despite the fear. Okay.
And this connects directly to cultivating what's called a growth mindset, the core belief that our abilities, our intelligence, they aren't fixed things. They can be developed through effort, through learning, through persistence.
So changing how you see failure. It's not a dead end, but maybe a stepping stone, information.
Exactly that. It completely reinterprets mistakes or setbacks. They're not signs that you're inadequate, they're just valuable lessons, data points, like you said. This mindset, it's a fantastic antidote to that loss aversion we talked about. It makes taking calculated risks feel much less daunting because you're fundamentally reframing failure as just learning and evolving.
Right, learning and
Yeah.
evolving. So once that mindset starts to kind of take hold, then it's about the practical stuff. Yeah.
Mhm.
How do we translate these big ideas, these intentions, into actual small, doable steps?
Yeah, the practical bit. Okay, first, prioritize. Maybe even tackle the hardest, most intimidating task first thing, eat the frog, as they say, and really internalize this action. Even when you're uncertain, that's what generates clarity.
Hmm.
Not endless thinking. Experience comes from doing.
So don't wait for everything to be perfect.
Definitely not. Seek out information, sure. Talk to mentors, absolutely. But accept that imperfection is just part of learning. It has to be. That very first small step, however imperfect, that's where the momentum starts. It really is.
Okay, wow. We've covered a fair bit today, haven't we? Really digging into living a life, hopefully with fewer regrets, understanding fear's roots, spotting those tricky cognitive biases, seeing the real cost of inaction, and then moving into cultivating a growth mindset, taking those small, practical steps and really grounding it all in your own well-being.
Yeah, and what stands out, I think, is just the incredible transformative power of deciding to act, of conscious action. Ultimately, you are the only one who can really put in the work for your dreams. No one else can do that for you. And the evidence, both anecdotal and research-based, it really does suggest that fortune favors the bold, you know? Every challenge faced is a chance to find out how strong you are.
So thinking about all this, what does it mean for you listening right now? Maybe consider this. What's just one small, maybe imperfect action you could take today? Doesn't have to be huge, even 5 minutes of effort. What's one thing to just break that inertia, move away from inaction, and edge a little closer to the life you genuinely envision?